beautiful night in Edinburgh, Texas. Just 20 minutes from the U.S.-Mexico border, and Energy FC on the road here this evening, taking on Rio Grande Valley FC, the Toros, playing at home at HEB Park. And this match brought to you by HEB. Arya Masudi alongside Eric Dobransky as we get you set for this matchup. The playoff picture in the USL becoming clear. San Antonio FC, the class of Group D, but Tulsa, Austin Bold, they're having themselves a little battle here in the final weekend.
Yeah, FC Tulsa is really trying to solidify that second position in Group D. Austin Bold had a tremendous opportunity on Wednesday to get closer, but they lost that tough game to RGV 2-0, and RGV's first win of the season.
And this group may not be done after this weekend. There could be more matchups based on what's going on. Now, August 15, the last time these two teams met, Eric, 0-0, but a lot of action.
Yeah, even though OKC, led in stats with 12 shots, 12 to 18 shots, 10 to 3 in corners, ended 0-0. The match before that was a 1-1 draw as well. So both these matches between these two teams have been tight, and I would expect nothing different tonight.
Yeah, this could be the tiebreaker between the two. Something has got to give, and if something does give, Eric, it'll be because of Kyle Edwards, potentially the forward out of St. Vincent in the Grenadines.
He's really getting into form here at the end of the season. Had a great game-winning goal on Wednesday against Austin Bold, created several opportunities, and really worked well with new addition Juan Carlos Azocar.
Kyle Edwards, of course, won the Golden Boot back a couple of years ago in the USL League One. Now for OKC tonight, you might think that Cody Lorendi would get the start after being on the USL's Team of the Week, but not so fast. CJ Cochran, he's in the net tonight.
13 starts, 39 saves in 2020, ranks third in the Western Conference in saves, and if this OKC Energy team is going to slow down RGV, it's going to be with the help of CJ Cochran.
It absolutely will be. Cochran, again, he's in the net here tonight. OKC Energy looking to finish the year on a high note. RGV, the Toros, they won their first matchup of the year on Wednesday night. Can they follow that up with yet another spectacular performance? OKC Energy looking to play spoilers. We'll be back right after this.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
At Bird Ogden and Fiesta dealerships, we continue to make our facilities safer. We are using hospital-grade disinfectants to sanitize customer waiting areas. We are sanitizing every vehicle before and after each use. Safety is our top priority. Together, we will get through this.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
And welcome back to Edinburgh, Texas, HEB Park. This match presented to you by Bud Light Seltzer. Arya Masudi and Eric Dobransky just moments away from first kick here in the Lone Star State. And here's how both teams will line up. And we will begin with the Toros, Rio Grande Valley FC. It'll be Kyle Ein in the net here this evening. Eric, had their first win of the week on Wednesday. Might as well not change too much.
Yeah, and only one change. No Juan Carlos Obregon, who scored against Austin Bold. Enter Deshane Beckford, and we highlighted Kyle Edwards in the open. Look for that front three really to create several opportunities and go at this OKC Energy backline.
Sixth start of the season for the aforementioned Beckford. He's got a pair of goals. And now for Energy FC, you see that 4-4-1-1, could be a 4-5-1, could be a 4-2-3-1. The notable addition is Cochran in goal.
And Stevenson and Cato had tremendous goals against FC Tulsa on Wednesday. Unfortunately, they could not hold on for the win, dropped the match 3-2, but really look for this back line and this midfield to control the tempo of the game.
Jaime Chavez was on the USL's Team of the Week back in Week 4. He's got 3 goals starting up top yet again here this evening. Orange kits here for RGV, the home side, white bottoms, orange socks, and then Energy in white tops, white bottoms with the green trim. Mario Masudi, Eric Dobransky joining you here. As those starting lineups we just mentioned were brought to you by Whataburger. And Eric, a match like we mentioned for RGV, winning once, you have to imagine that the training sessions were a little bit more upbeat as they came back into them after winning your first match of the year. This is a franchise that missed nearly 25 days because of the coronavirus and not being able to train. This has been a weird season for everyone, but maybe specifically for Toros.
It has been. An RGV, unfortunately only had the 2 days of training right before that Austin Bold game, and probably played one of the best games of their season, getting a 2-0 win over Austin Bold. So, a team that is getting a couple games now here after that 25-day layoff, really getting healthy, getting a rhythm. So I'm very interested to see how these opening exchanges between these two teams, what are they doing? Formation, tactically, what are they trying to, what spaces are they trying to unlock? So really interested to see how that all kind of unfolds through at least his first half to begin with.
And Jerson Echeverry, the head man in charge in his third year for RGV, said, we just didn't beat ourselves on Wednesday night. We played desperate. We played with passion. We finally didn't give the ball away. We have played really good soccer in spells this season, had brilliant moments, but we just haven't been able to put it together. Wednesday night, they put it together.
And that was really how he highlighted their entire season, because they're a talented team. They've got the pieces there to win games, but when you make mistakes on different parts of the field,
there's an early opportunity. Hold that thought. Oh, but the flag goes up. And Hernandez just a tad bit offside as we take a look real quick at the injury report presented to you by DHR Health. And you just look at some of the injuries Energy have had. Kyle Highland, Ray Sari, Charlie Ward, who's played a bunch this season for Energy, and then of course Toros without Samuels and Willis.
And even though these two teams aren't fighting for a playoff spot, obviously professionally, as players and as a team, you're really trying to go and finish the season on a high note. And then even just from the players aspect, you're trying to earn a job for next year as well, whether it's on your current squad or, somewhere else in the USL.
Yeah, and for Energy on the flip side, they're just trying to finish the season on a strong note. They've got only one win all year, and that came back in July 17th. Austin Bolt has, we'll talk about this throughout this evening, but Austin Bolt has dropped quite a few matches that are kind of head scratchers, you could say. But OKC Energy and Rio Grande Valley Toros, 2 wins between them, and they've both come against Austin Bolt.
And when you talked to Coach Echeverry from RGV earlier this week, he had nothing but fantastic things to say about OKC, how they're coached, how they play, the style of play, and really highlighted their offense, but just highlighting that they hadn't scored timely goals to get them results throughout the season. So he knows it's a team that can be very dangerous.
Let's take a look at some keys to the game presented by the Burt Ogden Auto Group. Eric?
For RGV, you got to be sharp defensively. We talked to Coach Echeverry earlier this week, and he was just so proud of his group on Wednesday. It was really purposeful defending, really, put Austin Bold in spots and spaces that they shouldn't, they didn't want to be in. And then for OKC Energy, it's get into a rhythm early. They're a team that really likes to control the tempo, so you really want to play on that front foot, see if you can kind of move that ball side to side and really find some seams and some space.
Finding some early space in this one as you see Cato, to the end line, and it's just a little too heavy as it'll go out for an RGV goal kick. But, you know, to your point, Eric, OKC has played really nice soccer for a lot of it, but that end product just hasn't been there. And you and I chatted before the match tonight, and you do this with your collegiate coaching. Possession only means so much. You've got to be able to get that end result and put the ball in the back of the net.
It does, and coaches will tell you it's fantastic to have the ball a lot of the game and have that, like you said, the percentage of possession in your favor. But what's possession without the end result and scoring? And so many one-goal losses for RGV. So, and to the top teams in this group and the top teams in this league. So they're right there. They just, even just stat line, they have a lot of players with 2 goals. So, Kyle Edwards getting the game winner on Wednesday. So they really do share that scoring responsibility. But, just knowing when and how to get that result is so important.
You saw Gerson Echeverry and John Pascarella there on the benches. Just the first year for Pascarella after he has had some bouts in the MLS, coaching goalkeepers for Sporting Kansas City and, of course, an assistant coach for Minnesota United. Now in charge of this proud OKC Energy franchise. The last time out for OKC, it's just to the point, is diving in right now is Cabato, plays it across, early opportunity, early goal, RGV on the backs of a great week, momentum building their way. Kyle Edwards gets the early goal for the home side.
And really comes from key pieces that played very well on Wednesday night. As Cabato really controlled the midfield, and you could see here getting on the end of it, and then Kyle Edwards having the game winner on Wednesday night, really getting into a good, consistent rhythm, seeing goals in the back of the net, and he's finding those dangerous spaces to really, challenge back lines and ask questions.
His 3rd goal of the 2020 campaign from nearby University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. 2nd in their university's history with 21 career goals. And how about that turn, Eric?
I know RGV's really happy with the way Kyle Edwards has developed through the season. It's hard to have a 25-day break from playing. But it's something for Kyle Edwards, that transition from playing in college to the pros, really taking care of your body, really being consistent with the play.
How about that play? And you just see the momentum and the confidence built for this RGV team. What does getting an early goal do for a team?
It really builds a lot of confidence, especially for a team that only has 1 win on the season, but with that win coming so recent.
Oh my goodness, done well. Oh, so close to having himself a highlight reel goal.
And that's what scoring first does. You look at opportunities, you see a back line starting to backtrack into their own 18-yard box, and you see Dunwell doing a great job picking up his head and almost finding that upper left corner.
Oh boy, laces were put through the boot, found the ball cleanly. Now we will take a moment for activism, the USL partnering to help end racial injustices, as both of these 2 teams have agreed to take just about over a minute to raise awareness. So we'll pick up right where we left off. Energy has it in their back half. Their white tops and white bottoms, green trim. And now being told that John Pascarella, who did receive a red card earlier this week, he does have to miss tonight's match. The earlier shot was of Lee Wiedman, the assistant coach, stepping in to Pascarella's shoes.
John Pascarella's team was playing so well on Wednesday against FC Tulsa, and both these teams were in a mood to play spoiler on Wednesday night because OKC Energy took a 1-0 lead and then a 2-1 lead. Unfortunately, at the end of the game, it was 3-2 FC Tulsa. But incredible goal by Stevenson for that second goal for OKC Energy. And literally probably 2 or 3 minutes after Pascarella had received the red card is when OKC Energy went up 2-1 on FC Tulsa, but just couldn't hold on, gave up 2 goals in the remaining 10 minutes of that match.
Yeah, Cordell Cato and Tucker Stevenson both found the back of the net, and that's just, to your point, just some of the frustrations they've had all year. They've drawn 7 times in this campaign, quite a bit. Just haven't been able to find those brilliant moments that separate good teams from great teams. And you could say kind of the same thing about both of these squads. They play really well in spells and in possessions. But again, that final product just sometimes not there.
You mentioned it, OKC Energy with a record of 1-7-7. 7 draws.
Finding the goals have been difficult as well for both of these franchises this year. OKC just 10 goals on the year. RGV with 13, now 14 after that goal by Edwards. Flag goes up. See the chip there. Won't count, but probably nice to see the ball go in the back of the net. Once again there, that time Deshane Beckford. The name of the game is scoring. It's the hardest thing to do in the game is to find the ball and to be able to finish. And a lot of frustrations when, you know, when you're struggling, Eric, on offense, as a coach, how do you have to, well, maybe Energy right here could have an opportunity. Because in the end, it doesn't punish the keeper. But what do you have to do tactically, defensively? It's almost like you have to start trying to find ways to win games with your defense and with tactics. As Energy, great piece of possession here, 1-1. Equalizer on the road. And it's that man right there. Once again, Cordell Cato, his second goal of the year. And maybe tonight's the night that OKC finds their scoring touch.
And these are 2 teams that have dangerous front threes. And unfortunately for RGV, on the clearance, they really weren't able to get out of their own 18 as a backline. So they allowed that deep ball to get played in. And Cato buries it near post, past Ein. And Cato's on a little bit of a roll here. 2 games, 2 goals. Really good link-up play in that final third for OKC.
He's played 135 matches at the next level in MLS with the Sounders, with Earthquakes, Trinidad and Tobago, 6'3", Cordell Cato. And as Eric mentioned, 2 goals this week, finding his form at the right time.
And as much as we were just talking about goals being scored, this is a match that we go back to the playoff picture. 2 of the teams that are at the bottom of Group D. But you and I talked before the broadcast was, I think this could be a wide open game. And it wasn't necessarily going to end 0-0 like it did last time. These are 2 teams that can, you know, if they get into a rhythm with the front 3 and those forwards, they're going to be dangerous. But it's also 2 teams that are on the upper end of the Western Conference in conceding goals. RGV, 26 goals conceded, now 27. And then OKC, 25 goals conceded, now 26.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And sometimes playing against defenses that haven't been able to find much success is the remedy for a struggling offense. How does this being potentially the last match for, well, it is for OKC, but maybe not for RGV, how does that affect things, this being the final match of the season?
It's tough. This has got to be a tough setup for these players. Such a condensed season. Really, these 2 teams are getting into a good rhythm now. You know, back when you have a 30-plus game season, it's probably you have your ups and downs, but by the time you hit midseason, you're kind of rolling. So, you know, for these players, they want to leave their coaches and their staffs with a, you know, with a good impression of them as players and really build upon the future.
RGV working out of the back. There's Adams, back to Kyle Line, who is on loan from OKC back on September 4th. The move was made in exchange for a 2020 international roster spot, but Ine now facing his former roster this evening.
Definitely has to be an interesting setup to be sent on loan and then be sent on loan with a team that you know is in your group.
Coronado feeds it in, and then dispossessed was RGV. Garcia wearing the captain's armband. Pushes it up ahead to Dunwell. And for RGV, the last time they played, as we mentioned, 2-0 at HEB Park against Austin Bold. Energy now with opportunity here. Nope, taken away and cleared out of the back.
Going back to your earlier question about a team that, you know, struggling to score goals and maybe timely goals is probably more of the appropriate.
This opportunity, wow, what a shot there by Edwards, yet again feeling good early.
It's really the timeliness of those goals that they're missing. You know, sometimes you can try to recreate those at training. You know, unfortunately, RGV's been in a situation where they had 25 days off, but Kyle Edwards is feeling really good tonight. He's getting turned, he's getting 1v1 matchups. He's just playing with a lot of confidence right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he found another one tonight.
Judging by the way this game has been back and forth, you mentioned it earlier, you thought it would be open and flowing back and forth up and down the pitch, and it has been just that tonight. But beating Austin Bold 2-0 in front of about 700 fans that they allowed, they've been trying, RGV's been trying to get fans back into HEB Park. It's a proud fan base. They do a great job usually with filling the stands, an arena and a stadium that holds nearly 10,000 people. And it's just been frustrating that the coronavirus has stopped multiple of their games, postponed some, and inevitably will cancel a couple of those that they won't make up. But how does 700 people in the stands make a difference? I mean, it correlated with their first win of the year.
Yeah, it's got to feel good to have your fans back in the stadium.
Edwards pushes it out inside the box. Chip punching him to himself was Cochran.
And that's another piece to this that I want to see how it develops is Juan Carlos Azocar got his first start on Wednesday night. He was available. He started training with RGV a couple days before their last game, before the 25-day layoff in terms of not being able to play a game, but he wasn't eligible to play against San Antonio. So his first game on Wednesday created a number of chances, and him and Edwards and Obregon played really well together. Combined it well. Really, the movement off the ball was good. And you could already see that relationship developing again tonight.
Azocar out of Venezuela actually just celebrated his 25th birthday earlier this week on Thursday evening. The first corner of this match brought to you by HEB. We'll go for OKC. Rafael Garcia, the captain's armband, at Granada Hills, California, his second year with the franchise. Two-time MLS Cup winner. Outswinging ball whistle. And the official call, I believe, is that it crossed the end line and circled back into play, so that'll go for a goal kick. You look at Group D, this USL playoff picture. Austin Bold was sitting in a pretty good position just a couple of weeks ago. Tulsa has kind of made their move. San Antonio, I think most would agree, has been the consistent force in the group. Maybe one of the favorites to make a deep run in the playoffs, but RGV played spoiler to Austin on Wednesday night, and now we've got an interesting last weekend in this group.
And Austin sitting 3 points behind FC Tulsa. They have to be disappointed with their performance on Wednesday night.
Now Cabato, just on the edge, will go for a throw. Great piece of defending.
I really like what Cabato's doing so far in this game. He's really exposing different areas of space, not just focusing on one portion of the field. But that Austin game on Wednesday, they're going to have to get some results and get some help here at the end of the season.
I was told earlier this week that RGV could hypothetically still have to play Tulsa if there is a scenario in which this group hasn't been decided for the 2 spots that'll make it into the playoffs. That would be played, I believe, either Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. Most likely Tuesdays. I believe that's the final day of the regular season in the USL.
You've got to be happy with OKC's response to giving up that early goal. They've really kind of regained control. But we talked about it earlier. You can regain possession, but not get the final product. And they've managed to develop the final product there, getting the equalizer.
Stevenson was looking for a switch, trying to get it into the box. This ball punched inside. Edwards, did he stay on? No official look at if the flag went up. Either way, Edwards was not able to finish. What a player he is, though, in his 11th game of the year for Kyle Edwards. And this is an excellent ball over the top.
It looks like he timed it very well, working off the back shoulder of the center backs there.
2-time WAC Conference first team member, was the player of the year in the WAC. In his final year, was on the Mac Herman watch list, given to the nation's best collegiate player each and every year. He played with Brazos Valley in the USL in League One, had 15 goals for them and won the Golden Boot. Nifty piece of footwork there by Amico. Chavez playing a little bit deeper. Receives back to Dunwell. Nice dispersion out wide. And you see OKC, this is what they want to do. They want to be able to play build-up soccer. The switch there, the header. Oh, what a save by Ein. Against his former team, he was asked a major question and came up with a good answer.
And you talk about possession that led to a great opportunity, and that was it right there. They really opened up. You can see as the play develops, they really opened up RGV. And Jaime Chavez making a well-timed run to that far post. And Ein doing really well to make his way and make that save near post. Still having to deal with a set piece here, though.
He saw those two having a word with each other, former teammates. Chavez probably said something along the lines of, "Really, man? Can't let me have that one?" In swinging corner. A couple of players diving in to get ahead on it. Possession still with OKC. Another in swinging ball, loose. Now Dunwell. The turn and fire partially deflected. Garcia just lets it roll out as the Energy regain possession. Amico, Taravel, Del Campo. Now Ellis Hayden.
And already you can see the two styles of play from both teams. OKC being very patient, trying to find those moments where they can stretch RGV and find those entry balls into seams and into space. And then RGV so quick to transition with Kyle Edwards and really trying to find those 1v1 matchups.
Now Cato swings it in, deflected, and cleared away by Kyle Adams. He's wearing the captain's armband here this evening for RGV. Like what you see so far from these two?
I do. I want to make sure that RGV...
Maybe energy make you happy there, as it was, again, Kyle Adams who came up with the final deflection out for a corner.
You just want to make sure RGV's getting their back line up a little quicker in some of these moments, because even on the goal that OKC scored, they had a moment where they could have stepped out of the 18 and really kind of picked up some ground, but they allowed OKC to win the ball and then play that deep ball into that final third. So in moments like this, really finding where they can win the ball higher up the field so they're not having to work 100, 120 yards from their goal mouth to OKC.
Through ball, Chavez running onto the end of it, beats it right before it gets to the line, and now Stevenson. Back to Amico. Trying to dummy that one a little bit was Hernandez. Now Cato, a whistle. That'll go the other way, but to your point exactly, Eric, one of the keys that Coach Echeverri gave us was we need to defend with some unity. It needs to be together. Let's move together and defend those set pieces well if we get a chance.
And OKC really does a tremendous job of having two center backs that like to play positive. Yes, they will swing the ball from side to side. They will find their left and right back on more occasions than not. But when they find that opening, they're going to look for Hernandez, Garcia, Dunwell. They're going to look for their outside forwards, Cato, Stevenson. They're going to find those moments where they can break lines of pressure. So you just have to be careful. So just like what Coach Echeverri said this week about his team on Wednesday against Austin Bold, it was the first time he'd really seen his team as an 11 commit for 90 minutes to defend and earn a fantastic shutout against a good Austin Bold team.
Decent piece of possession here for RGV, trying to control their build-up play up the pitch. You see Hoffman on the right side, swings it into the back post. Oh, what a play there. Diving onto the end of that one for the energy. Edwards was waiting all alone to punish that. But not out of the woods yet is OKC.
Kyle Edwards is asking a lot of questions towards this OKC Energy backline. He is finding different runs and different areas to attack. And his team is doing a fantastic job of getting good services in as well and really rotating where they're attacking from. Like we talked about with Kabato earlier, Azokar's finding different space.
Edwards tried the back heel there as the ball rolls out. That was one of the things that Coach Echeverri said about Edwards was he's probably been one of the players that has grown the most this season. I know you mentioned it briefly earlier in the broadcast, but said he just had a college mentality when he got here. But Eric, how much of a difference does it make when you get to the professional level of doing those little things, the daily routine correctly, to try and give yourself a chance to perform at the highest level? Zion, again, does a nice job.
Those details really matter at the college level. You know, sometimes you can get away with things, you know, whether it's playing a team that, you know, just plays you differently. Where here at the pro level, you're just playing against such talented players every single day. And you have a lot of talent at the college level, especially in that conference that he played in, but just the consistency in which that you need to perform and the way you need to take care of your body at this level as well. There's just a lot of demands. Everything just gets stepped up quite a bit. And it's the same thing when kids come from high school and club soccer to college soccer. The routine changes and the level changes. So It's good. It's no different from the college level to the pro level. Now, there's players that, tend to not make those changes. So you're happy to hear Kyle Edwards is really growing into that professionalism. And he's just such a talented player that you're excited for a future. You're excited to see what he develops into.
Some of those little things, too. I mean, you coach currently just sleeping on time, getting the right amount of sleep, eating correctly, treatment for your body when you need it. I mean, it's just little things of maturity that has to happen. And I guess maybe once you get to the professional level, that stuff is not more of a choice as it is a necessity.
It is. And at this level, at the college level, most of the time you have your coaching staff, you have a nutritionist, you have all these, different resources that, watch over you and make sure you're doing. At the pro level, you have those resources, but you have to make the decision to do them as well.
No doubt about that, as Edwards has had to learn that one the hard way, very young. Still, but he has put the first goal of the match in by RGV. And then OKC, of course, equalizing. And you look at the playoff bracket. Eric, what stands out to you this year in 2020 USL?
I'm intrigued by that Phoenix Rising Sacramento matchup. I think Phoenix Rising has been, really running the Western Conference, and same with San Antonio. But now, no Junior Flemings, for the foreseeable future, depending on what happens. So that could be a tough matchup with Sacramento, a tough Sacramento team. But FC Tulsa playing El Paso. The Western Conference has just been so wide open and such talented teams.
Yeah, I mean, and that's to your point exactly. There have been so many different switches in each of these groups over the last couple of weeks. To mention Tulsa in this group, battling Austin still, and then, of course, a lot of controversy with San Diego Loyal just the past couple of weeks. Landon Donovan's squad was playing as well, maybe better than anyone in the Western Conference when they added Rubio Rubin and Miguel Berry. They added some MLS pieces, and all of a sudden, the complexion of a team just changes. Now, of course, San Diego walked off the pitch a couple of times, and for good reason, and for standing for what they believe in. But now you just kind of wonder, Phoenix Rising doesn't have arguably its best player, one of the best players in the USL. They don't have their head coach. Where does that franchise go? Where does that take the USL's Western Conference bracket?
And I think everybody already thought the matchup with Sacramento was going to be a tough one for Phoenix's, moving forward. So now it just gets even harder. And you go back to this group as well with Austin playing tomorrow. FC Tulsa is leading their game 2-0 against Colorado Springs Switchbacks. So Austin's really going to have to make a run at this. But you also got to take care of games on Wednesday, like they had on Wednesday night. If you want to be a playoff team, if Austin Bold wants to be a playoff team, they need to put away a winless RGV team.
Yeah, and that El Paso team's got a chance to do something pretty special in the Lone Star State and the state of Texas. But if Phoenix Rising doesn't have its best players, I think a lot of people were penciling them in as potentially to be the team to beat. But Reno, like you mentioned, has done some nice things. And then, of course, we'll take a look at the Eastern Conference at some point here tonight, where the clarity there seems to be just combobulated everywhere. And that's just the USL in 2020.
Well, you go back to our conversation about Kyle Edwards and that transition from college to the pros and the differences and the details. And it just shows you how extremely talented a lot of these teams, all these teams in the USL Championship are. When you have a winless RGV team that really does play a good style of soccer and really talented team, and unfortunately going to Austin, or playing Austin Bold on Wednesday winless, and then beating them 2-0. I mean, that's a professional win. I mean, that's fantastic for an RGV team.
Why don't we just look at what happened here? Dunwell running onto the ball. Maybe took a little bit of an elbow to the face.
Yeah, it looks like Deshane Beckford just got his left arm up.
Garcia may be beckoning for for the ref to look the other way there. Or maybe even wanted a card given on RGV. 34th minute action, 1-1. It's been a fun contest between these two. Both teams scored early on. It's now RGV looking to find something in the last few minutes of the first half. This shot, just not enough on it to challenge CJ Cochran.
I really liked the idea from Hoffman to play that low and see if he can get Beckford or Edwards running in. This is Hoffman's second game playing it right back. Originally started with RGV playing in the midfield. Member of the U20 U.S. national team.
RGV pushing forward, barreling ahead. 36th minute. The switch is available if they want it. Instead, knocked forward to Edwards. Cochran dekes him out, and it rolls for a goal kick.
Again, OKC Energy is so patient. They really don't mind knocking it right back to the center backs and restarting possession. And you can see how intentional they are with trying to find that wide space in the final third and then getting good layered runs in.
Ellis Hayden tangling with Dunwell there inside the box. Cato retains possession in the attacking third for OKC. Garcia, Cato, Ellis Hayden high up the pitch. Drops it off. Ein again to his right, able to make a nice move as he falls to the turf.
And on this OKC Energy team, you have a number of players coming from a Fresno FC team that had a lot of success last year. You have Jaime Chavez, you have Hayden, Ellis Hayden, you have Del Campo, you have Cochran. You have a number of players on this team, and even in the starting 11, that have been a part of a team that made a good run last year in this USL Championship.
Flag goes up on Chavez. The assistant AR, the assistant ref there, the side judge, was quick with the flag. You see Wiedmann, who's stepping in for Pasquarella this evening. Martinez. Chips it over to Hoffman. Hoffman goes down and wins the foul. Stevenson not agreeing with the call.
And those are things that Hoffman did so well on Wednesday night, providing another outlet for this team in the final third as an outside back, creating an overload on that right side. But there's one aspect of creating the overload, and there's the other aspect of delivering a quality service, and that's something that Hoffman has added at that position as well. And then you accompany it with high levels of play from Kyle Edwards, Beckford, Azokar, and Obregon.
It'll be Isidro Martinez with the honors. Outswinging ball towards the 6. Header, did it find the net? It did! Juan Carlos Azokar, the Venezuelan, celebrates his 25th birthday in style. The home side, RGV, back on top.
And I am not surprised one bit that this second goal comes from Juan Carlos Azócar. Played with such confidence on Wednesday night, his first start for RGV in the USL. You talked to Coach Echeverry this week, and he said Juan Carlos just has such personality on the ball. So good 1v1. His movement off the ball really opens up space for Kyle Edwards and the other forwards as well. That's a well-deserved goal from a player that, you know, has really created several opportunities throughout this past week.
No doubt about that, Eric, at all. As Azócar has played in some big matches. He's played in Armenia. He's played for the Venezuelan youth national team. He's played in Copa Libertadores, of course. And yeah, I mean, that's a big addition to their squad. And like you mentioned, they were excited to have him. And then all of a sudden, those postponements occurred. But he has had his quality felt in the first couple of matches back.
We go back to it, the future's bright for this RGV team. I mean, they have attacking options, and I feel like they've really found an 11 that kind of creates and defends the way that Coach Echeverry wants.
Hoffman back towards the middle of the box. Going down, I believe, was Edwards, rather Beckford. He wanted the call, but not able to get the whistle. Eric, how big is it to go up 2-1 right before the locker room break?
It is big, especially for a team that scored first as well and took the early lead. As a coach, sometimes it is a little difficult to go into halftime with the lead. Obviously, you'd prefer that over anything. But when you go into halftime with the lead, you tend to adjust just a few things here and there. Whereas if you go in at halftime down, you're really trying to find that equalizer and try to find different ways to correct the mistakes. So sometimes you know, when you're carrying a lead into halftime, you kind of get in this mindset of, okay, we're okay. We have the 2-1 lead or, you know, 1-0 lead. But it's going to be so important for this RGV team.
Well, Energy FC trying to find that equalizer to retake the momentum heading into halftime. Stevenson pushes it out wide. Service into the box, nobody home. Stevenson, the effort and energy to chase it down, retains possession for OKC.
And that's going to be one of the things that OKC is going to want to not necessarily change, but add a little bit to the second half. Is they are doing a tremendous job of getting that ball wide in the final third. Whether those runs in the box are just coming too early or the layers aren't really properly, you know, there, that's going to be something they're going to want to look at.
Doing well here. Beckford, open goal, found the net! 3 goals in the first half for RGV. The Jamaican finds his goal. And now the Toros feeling good about themselves as Cochran took a hard tumble.
Just tremendous effort by Deshane Beckford, a player that's inserted in the starting 11 for Obregon, who scored on Wednesday night as well. Deshane Beckford really just doing all the work here, going 1v1. You know, unfortunately, Cochran and Del Campo run into each other. You've got to hope that those two are okay and can continue in this match. But Deshane Beckford just making the run down the field, really making it a tough decision for Cochran to whether he wanted to come out and win the ball. And then that ball falling favorably to Deshane Beckford. Now this goal makes a huge difference going into halftime.
You hate to see that. for OKC is Cochran, clearly in a lot of pain. Looking at that knee. I believe that's going to be enough. It might be enough to make the switch here for OKC in the net. You don't want to see injuries ever.
Absolutely not. And Del Campo was moving at a high rate of speed, running towards his goal. So you've got to hope that Cochran's okay.
See a couple of players shaken up. Cochran, of course, in his third year now, and was so big in the 2016 playoff run that OKC had. Played with Fresno FC. A bunch of players who did here on OKC, 40 games in the 2 seasons that he was over in California. And you look at the replay here, it looks like he just took a cleat straight to the knee.
And you could see Deshane Beckford's pace really caused a lot of problems on that play. Really put Del Campo and Cochran in a position where neither of them knew who was going to be responsible for playing that ball out. And then you have an unfortunate collision.
There'll be 7 minutes of stoppage time added here, and that's presented to you by Kepa.
You could see Lorendi warming up there on the sideline, preparing to go in.
Grande just coming off of Player of the Week in the USL. He made 5 saves against Austin Bold. A 0-0 draw last weekend, and his 100th game with OKC. Lorendi out of Melbourne, Florida. All-time leader for OKC in games played and appearances. On the Puerto Rican national team, the starting keeper. And he himself actually had a major knee injury in 2017 that kept him out for a while. And so now coming back in, Lorendi's been huge. Had 107 saves a year ago to lead all of the USL's keepers. So good to see, though, Cochran able to put some power underneath and walk off the pitch on his own. But that switch will be made. A substitution brought to you by Delia's Tamales.
Substitution for OKC, number 1, Cody Lorendi. For number 2, CJ Cochran.
And when they spoke to Lorendi after his performance against Austin Bold, when he received Player of the Week honors, he had nothing but incredible things to say about CJ Cochran and their relationship, their professionalism, their desire to prepare for teams, the way they study, the way they watch film. Because he came up, Lorendi came up big against Austin Bold on a PK save. And again, giving a lot of credit to the work he and CJ Cochran put in at practice, on the field, off the field.
And so 3 goals now for RGV here in the first. Put 4 shots on target. So a high rate of execution for the home side.
Yeah, and if you're OKC, you're down 3-1, but you really have created a number of chances. So it's not like you're not going to be able to find a moment or two to try to get back in this game. Just stay patient. Don't change the way you're playing. This is where they've done really well. They get Ellis Hayden in that middle third, and if he doesn't like what he's seeing, he just goes right back to the center backs. And then they find the opposite side with Stevenson and Amico.
Final moments here of the first. RGV, who had only scored 13 goals all year, able to find 3 here this evening.
RGV and OKC being the 2 lowest scoring teams in the Western Conference, with OKC ranking last in the Western Conference with 10 total goals. Now 11 with their goal tonight. And RGV going into the match ranking second to last in the Western Conference in goals scored with 13, but now with the 3 tonight up to 16.
This is the most goals scored in a match this year by RGV with 3. Eric, I mean, it really can be said for Toros FC that being off for 25 days, you could have viewed it as almost like a new season when you came back. I mean, you could compartmentalize it into, look, this is a different part of our season. We haven't been the same. We haven't really played in 3 weeks. It's OKC trying to find their second and picked out of the sky. Beautifully by Ein. If you're RGV, it's almost like a fresh reset. No, and you probably know by then you're not making the playoffs. By that point, you had a feeling it wasn't happening. Just a chance to kind of reset, refresh, and renew.
And you had enough games under your belt that you had a good idea of what kind of team you were.
It could be a 4-piece for RGV tonight, although good piece of defending there.
And what kind of team you are in regards to the positives and the negatives, because talking to Coach Echeverri this week, he had really highlighted that last game before the break, before the 25-day break, the stoppage of play for RGV.
Break for them.
Yeah, a lot of individual workouts at home, not allowed to train, but that San Antonio game on September 5th was really kind of encapsulated everything that they had issues with. They gave up a goal to San Antonio 10 seconds into the match. Those are tough moments to overcome. And that's really what has happened to RGV. Bad turnovers in bad areas of the field, falling behind early in matches, always having to play catch up. And you talk about not putting your offense in the best position when you give up goals early. Now you're trying to force things. You're putting a lot of pressure on moments to score. So, you know, they get back from the break. They go 1-0, and now here, carry a 3-1 lead. So, I agree with you 100%. You know, they were able to watch the USL games that were going on, to really get mentally prepared for the changes that needed to happen. And I'll be interested to see if the rest of this group needs to get played moving forward with those games that RGV has missed.
If you're RGV, you're almost welcoming another opportunity to play again. Doesn't matter if you can get in or not. I mean, like I said, it's almost like a new season. You can build a lot of momentum, go into off-season training and conditioning and workouts, just feeling really good about yourself and where you are in your development process. Here's Dunwell, deep in his own half, dropping it back. Rather, that was Murphy, for RGV. Now it's Martinez. Outside of the foot, tried to find his teammate. It was knocked away by Amico.
For a team that has been off for over 3 weeks, and with the insertion of a new player like Azokar and a positional change by Hoffman, this team has done a tremendous job of interchanging and really making OKC pick up different players throughout the run of play and be very mindful and purposeful with the spaces that they're giving up, because you even saw in the build-up that Hoffman was already in the attacking half. Martinez was dropping off.
Edwards again getting onto his right foot. It's blocked. Rather, that was Beckford. Beckford feeling good about himself so far. Murphy, hard and low. Lorendi was there. And with that, the whistle. An eventful first 55 minutes for both squads. RGV has found its scoring touch. Tonight it was Edwards, Azokar, Beckford with 3 goals in the first half. They've already set their record for goals this season.
All of a sudden I felt a lump on my left breast. I was...
Don't be shy about getting your hands in there. Grab the side of the dough furthest away from you and fold it in towards the...
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the couch.
Baseball or football or racquetball. We don't mind, we'll watch any at all.
'Cause it's root for the home team.
No way, we don't really care.
We care. I care.
'Cause sports are finally back and there's a Bud Light there.
And he lines one towards the middle. Base hit. Just settles over shortstop's glove and into left field. That brings in a run, and we are tied here in Chicago at 2 apiece.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Even though they never really tell you, oh,
Beautiful moon out
I realized
in
that
Southeast Texas here tonight. Rio Grande Valley FC 3, OKC Energy FC 1. It's now time for the dish with Devin Kerr. Devin, you got us?
Hey, producer, anybody know what week it is? It doesn't matter what week it is. It's the dish, and we are heading into the final week of the USL Championship. North Carolina FC having to make up a game. They get Red Bull 2. Dre Fortune gets taken down. Penn, top corner, 1-0.
We can mention
Run it
that
back
in a
again,
second.
except this time nobody takes him down. Instead, ball comes back across. Fantastic finish to the bottom corner. 2-0. They would make it 3 off the own goal. North Carolina FC 12 points back of first place last week. They beat Birmingham. They beat Red Bull 2. If they beat Charlotte on the weekend, they travel to a playing game of Memphis. Not only could they get in, they could get first place with a Birmingham loss. But dare I digress, Hartford Athletic. This should be an easy game against Philadelphia Union 2. Nobody told Philadelphia Union 2 that. Nor did anybody tell Hartford Athletic that either. They made it really difficult on themselves. Went out 2-0 in the opening 15 minutes, but see, an own goal is bad, and this is even worse. Communication is the key to any successful relationship. However, we have a sighting. We're calling it the Immaculate Deflection. Why not? Mitch Butler, what are you doing with this ball? Shades of Loris Karius in Liverpool. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. We all know why. You'll never walk alone. And India's walking alone right now. India 11 having to get a victory puts them in to the playoffs. Wilson Harris, 41st minute, because all he does is score goals. Can barely vote. Definitely can't buy alcohol, but he can score goals. But Andrew Carlton gets them even. And then at the tail end of it, 95th minute, in his debut, Bailey Sparks, London Bridge, makes an appearance at Lucas Oil. We all fall down. Indy 11 need a result at St. Louis FC to get in. St. Louis got to get a victory. Orange County need to win. No ifs, ands, or buts. This gets them start off nice. Sean Okoli, go! Knows how to score. He bags goals, 6th minute, but Augustine Williams gets a brace in the 68th. Combined with the one in the 10th minute, only 2 goals off the Golden Boot pace. This would be back and forth in the final minutes of this game. Really close. Insult to injury in the 92nd by Hernandez. Los Dos punched their ticket
as did a few other teams, but there's still a lot to play for. Understand this coming into the weekend. 16 games on the USL Championship fixture list, 13 of which have playoff implications. Miami FC knocked off Battery's chances to go number 1 in their group. FC Tulsa put themselves in the driver's seat in Group B. Of course, that's for number 2 seed, because San Antonio FC, they're miles ahead of everyone. And when I mean B, I mean D. We all make mistakes. RGV, shout out to Eric Falero. That's his boys, Jerson Echeverry. They get their first win of the season. Real Monarchs, New Mexico United. New Mexico United could have gotten real close here to overtaking El Paso Locomotive. Instead, they're playing for first place on the weekend in Group C. And Reno, what are you doing? You had the opportunity to sign, seal, and deliver the number 1 seed in the West, but you couldn't do it. Instead, Reno, San Antonio, and Phoenix have an opportunity for that. Couple in the East as well. We'll see you out there.
Visit USLSoccerShop.com this Friday through Monday to claim at least 20% off at participating clubs' online stores.
What a beauty! It's fantastic! Sensational! Fantastic! Any way you slice it. This one he puts away, fires and scores! What an unbelievable strike. Oh, what a goal!
There's the shot, it scores! Attacking, shooting, and scoring!
The United Soccer League and its 47th championship in League One clubs stand united in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can create change. Together, we are united against racism.
Visit USLSoccerShop.com this Friday through Monday to claim at least 20% off at participating clubs' online stores.
Halftime rolling on here at HEB Park, and you see all the teddy bears there in the seats. If you buy those teddy bears, the proceeds go to Vandy Cook Children's Clinic for cancer. So get yourself a cute little teddy bear and donate to a great cause, as well as we take a look at news and notes from around the USL postseason play. October 9th, all games airing right here on ESPN+. How about lucky number 13, Eric? Charleston Battery, 13 in a row, a USL record, making it to the playoffs. And are you excited about the final being on ESPN? How about that for this league?
USL just keeps growing, and they have a tremendous product. You give them a lot of credit.
And to get to that point, here is what will come up on Sunday. Austin Bold FC, desperate need of a victory to keep their playoff hopes alive. And you see Hartford, who has made just a incredible comeback there in the group to overtake Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They were in second just a couple of weeks ago and by multiple games. And so now, of course, the playoff action continuing to heat up. Exciting times in the USL. More halftime after this.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out to the couch.
Baseball or football or racquetball. We don't mind, we'll watch any at all.
'Cause it's root for the home team.
No way, we don't really care. We care. I care.
'Cause sports are finally back and there's a Bud Light.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
At Burt Ogden and Fiesta dealerships, we continue to make our facilities safer. We are using hospital-grade disinfectants to sanitize customer waiting areas. We are sanitizing every vehicle before and after each use. Safety is our top priority. Together, we will get through this.
3-1 Rio Grande Valley FC on top of OKC Energy FC here, the home side up by 2, presented by Bud Light Seltzer. And here are the highlights in this one. Eric, wow, what a first 45 minutes we had.
It got started early, and Cabato, who played so well Wednesday against Austin Bold, gets the game started with Kyle Edwards finishing it off. And really a great start for a team that is feeling really good about beating one of the better teams in their group, and a player, Kyle Edwards, that is really turning into good form, scoring the game winner on Wednesday and then getting the first one tonight. And then here with OKC, just the inability for RGV to get out of their half in that moment of clearance allowed Hernandez to play Cato and beat Ein near post. Really good link-up play throughout the first half for OKC Energy. And then here for RGV, you get such a good goal by Azokar, and somebody that got his first start on Wednesday night. The Venezuelan was so dangerous against Austin Bold and really gets a well-deserved goal here in his second start for RGV. Off a deflection, being prepared. And then here, the Deshane Beckford goal. Such a hard-working goal. It's gone down as an own goal, but you and I were just talking about it. That was Deshane Beckford's goal.
And that ball's in if no deflections made at all. That's the only argument I have, is you look at it again here, there's nothing Amico was going to be able to do there to deny the Jamaican. And 3 goals in the first half for RGV. Where has this offensive explosion been all season? And look at the stats from the first half. Eric, what stands out to you as you take a look?
I'm not surprised that possession's in OKC Energy's favor. The shots on target, RGV, 6 shots on target, 3 of them being goals. Yeah, I think the stats really tell what we thought the game was going to be. RGV, really good in transition, finding Kyle Edwards, really building off Azokar and Beckford, and then OKC Energy being so patient in possession and really trying to control the tempo of this game, which they have. They've just conceded 3 goals on 6 shots on goal.
The last time that the Toros led at halftime, they were able to knock off Austin Bold. And we take a look once again at what's coming up here tomorrow. Monarchs Locomotive, that should be a fun one. Bold and San Antonio FC, of course, that is a must-win for Austin. How about New York Red Bulls 2 against Hartford Athletic? Hartford and Pittsburgh, the cream of the crop there in their group. And Eric, I know you had some news earlier that St. Louis pulling it off here this evening.
St. Louis in the must-win in their last season of existence in the USL Championship, pull off a victory against Indy 11, 2-1 in St. Louis. You got to be happy for that St. Louis fan base. St. Louligans, that fan base has done so much. So excited for MLS to start, but that's not for years to come, and really sad to see their USL team cease operations after this season. You got to be happy for Coach Trichu and his players getting goals from Tyler Blackwood and Wallfall. And then, unfortunately, an Indy 11 team that kind of found themselves on the outside looking in towards the end of that season in that group. Really played well, was at the top of that group. Lou City made a great run. And then St. Louis found themselves in a position where they could earn that second spot.
"45 minutes of action have come and gone. We'll have 45 more minutes. OKC just needing to find some life. How important would it be for OKC to find a goal here in the first 10, 15 minutes of the half?
I think it's crucial for them because that would really get momentum back in their favor, and it leaves you the rest of the half to find the equalizer. And we talked about it. They're creating opportunities, so it's not like they're hitting the final third, not, you know, getting good looks at frame. It's really just cleaning up that final pass, that final service. And you really hope that CJ Cochran is okay from that run in with his own center back, Del Campo. But you said it, this first 10 to 15 minutes is really going to be the moments where OKC wants to find the second goal.
Chavez was looking for an early opportunity to punish the back of the net from distance.
Trying to catch Ein off his line.
Long ball from Manley. Dealt well with by OKC. Done well. Center circle. Sprays it out wide. That was Ellis Hayden. See, Jonathan Brown is into the game for OKC. Here is Dunwell. Up ahead, you see Brown in for Garcia. Had a touch earlier in this half. OKC trying anything from distance here was Stevenson. But had no chance with that one as it just floated high and away.
Yeah, if you're OKC, you don't want to get away from how you've been playing and what you've been doing in this game just because you're down 2 goals. You might want to add a little bit of urgency to restarts, to playing the front foot, you know, maybe finding the service a little earlier, but you really don't want to change the way you're already built to play and the way they play so well. So try to be as patient as you can and try to find the second goal and then put that pressure on RGV as you try to find the equalizer.
We mentioned it earlier, RGV has been forced to postpone at least 4 matches so far this season. They missed 25 days in September where they couldn't not only play, they couldn't even train together. But somehow, some way, they've come out better for it. A win on Wednesday over Austin Bold right here at HEB Park in front of over 700 fans. And an offensive outburst here tonight, 3 goals in the first 45. AB Echeverry's squad finishing with the spark on their 2020 campaign.
And depending on how this group continues to shape up, that's going to determine whether these other games against Tulsa and New Mexico need to get played, particularly the one against FC Tulsa.
has to determine whether or not in Group D, who are the two teams that come out of it. San Antonio, safe, they're locked in. But that second spot up for grabs.
And with
this ball put into a good spot by Edwards, fighting for it.
And with FC Tulsa getting the result tonight against Colorado Springs, all eyes are going to be on Austin Bold tomorrow, seeing if they can get 3 points and keep putting pressure on FC Tulsa.
No doubt about that, as Tulsa looked at one point, they looked to be down and out of the race, and they just found their stride. It's a passionate fan base over in Tulsa as well. Have a lot of media coverage of their franchise. They're looking for some favors done. Hoping Austin Bold just goes ahead and drops another match. Eric, what do you want to see from both of these teams as they come out of the locker room?
Well, I mean, I want to see RGV continue to play with the confidence they're playing with and they built upon on Wednesday night. You know, you could see them as soon as they attack, as soon as they hit the offensive half, they've been very creative. They've been very clean in the interchange. Outside backs getting forward. And then out of OKC, I just want to see more layers in the runs in the box when they get the ball wide, because they have done a good job getting that ball out wide in the final third, but really not creating any danger when it comes to second, third runners outside of that 6-yard box. A number of balls were served in that just went right across the 6-yard box and didn't have anybody in the end of it. So they're really finding more moments to expose RGV's back line there. But I can only imagine how pleased Coach Echeverry is with his group right now.
Stevenson running onto it. Near the corner flag. In swinging ball towards the penalty spot. Dealt with by RGV. How about this now from Kimbato? Up ahead, Edwards. He has been so dangerous tonight. How about that move? No doubt a card coming out, as Edwards made an absolutely filthy move to get himself into some space. Really, Ibiaga, who just came on, I think that was the only choice he had.
It was. You saw Edwards take that long touch, and he was going to be gone. See this touch right here? Catches him right at the end. And I'm with you. I'm a little surprised to not see a yellow come out, but he just entered the game. It was his first action of the game. And then you could see on the previous play.
Ibiaga's begging, absolutely begging. Might have got away with one. He might be able to get out of this cleanly.
I don't know whether he's trying to talk the referee into giving him a yellow card, or if I'm him, I'm getting back, setting up defensively, and
see Murphy there going, well, what else does a yellow card look like?
Yeah, because that was clearly denying RGV a moment, an opportunity that they might have taken advantage of.
So it'll be just a foul, but a dangerous set piece opportunity. Will it be Coronado or Martinez? They're definitely going to want to put this ball on the 6 if they can, just on the edge there. It will be Coronado who steps over it, and Martinez will do the honors. In swinging ball towards the back post, not good enough. Lorendi, certainly not for a keeper of his caliber. What a slide there from Coronado.
And if you're Martinez, you're really disappointed with that service, because you have those decoy runners to see what kind of space gets exposed when your attacking players make those runs, and he just wasn't able to pick out that spot that he wanted.
Kato. Dropping it back, Ibiaga. On to his right, surveys, looking for someone to check, sees nothing. Back to Lorendi. Puts a powerful strike up the field. Now let's see if OKC does anything with it here. Going down in a tumble was Murphy. Excuse me, Dunwell quickly. It'll be a foul as OKC wants to play quick. Brown swings it in, dealt with beautifully by Kyle Adams. Good looking center back there wearing the captain's armband this evening for the Toros. Now here's Tarek Ellis-Hayden, the Canadian, in his 15th match of the year. His first year with the squad after he played 50 matches for Fresno FC. Not enough pace there. As Toros will be able to clear it and switch it and change the point of attack. That ball is perfect. Beckford. One-on-one, gets it into the back post. Oh, Edwards just not on the same page. The idea was good, but you would like to see Edwards just a little quicker off his man to get out in front and maybe just tap it home with the left.
What a touch in to play Beckford into space. And like you mentioned, you see Edwards making that near post run. Beckford hoping that he maybe drag the defender near post and then end up in that far post right outside that 6-yard box, but like you said, not on the same page.
Another crunching tackle, this time from RGV. Hernandez. Nothing doing again for OKC in that final third. Eric, they've done a good job of getting the ball out wide. They've played it into the center. It's just the final feed, just not there. Final finish, other than really Cato's ability to find one goal. This just has been a poor offensive performance for OKC.
And sometimes you get caught in these moments where you have opportunities central and then you continue to kind of push the ball wide when there is space right in front, right at top of the 18. So you wonder, as this half progresses, can OKC take advantage of the space they're starting to create centrally instead of just always getting wide? Because like you mentioned, they are getting the ball wide. They're just not getting anything on the end of it. On that initial service earlier in this half, they had good runners. They had one at the PK spot. Two, one on each side, on the right and the left on the service, but then the service didn't have much intent behind it as well. But
checking two was Brown. Ellis-Hayden tried to make the run. It was cut off. Now a foul going the other way. It's just been that kind of night. 1, 2 passes, 3 passes. Just not that one that kind of springs the action forward. That's what RGV's done so well. They finished. They put themselves in good positions. Put a lot of stress on that back line for OKC.
And defensively, they've done a good job of allowing OKC to take the space they're going to allow in the final third. So they're okay with OKC finding the outs, the wide areas. They just know they need to defend the service with a lot of quality.
Edwards running onto it, excellent touch. Finds himself some space. One man to beat, drops it back. This fire rocket, oh my goodness, Lorendi. How good was that? From the reigning player of the week in the USL. A little surprised Edwards didn't take it himself.
And I think a lot of his teammates are surprised that he didn't try to play it to somebody inside the 18-yard box, that he ended up playing it outside. Does a great job keeping this ball in, but he gets his head up and he has 2 good runners right in front of him that he didn't play.
Now a corner for RGV. Martinez. Coronado. Back post. Knocked down and cleared away by Stevenson.
You're approaching that 15-minute mark for OKC, and they just haven't really created a extremely dangerous opportunity yet in this half. And that was something that Coach Echeverry was really proud of on Wednesday night against Austin Bold. Was Austin didn't really get a good look at goal. He was very proud of the way that Ein played and his whole team played, not creating chances for Austin and limiting those in the final third.
But Eric, I mean, having a striker, right, that's the difference. And not to say that on OKC they don't have quality strikers. They've got some great players. You look at like Phoenix Rising, and they've got Flemings, and they've got Dadovich. I mean, they've got multiple guys who are able to put the ball into the back of the net. Service there, again, headed away. That just changes the complexion of a team altogether when you have two guys that can create on their own. Rubio Rubin for San Diego, who's come on and been electric. Kimbato. Martinez, edge of the box, he'll have a go. Lorendi again comes up huge. That one not nearly as testing, but Lorendi does well.
And going back to your point about OKC's attack, is you talk to people around the league, and when they play OKC, they always talk about how dangerous this team can be. When it's all clicking, they can be. And they have all the weapons to be dangerous, but for some reason it's just not clicking. And it hasn't clicked throughout the season, whether it's because, you know, a lot of these teams are having difficulty adjusting to that shortened season where you're playing 16 games and you really can't hit a lull. You know, one bad week, you know, that's a 6-point turnaround if you drop both those games.
Now Stevenson, top of the 18, angling well. Kind of a hybrid pass shot that I don't think he had any conviction in what he wanted to do there. In the end, it springs RGV forward. They've done well so far tonight. Not able to capitalize there.
And that Stevenson opportunity was very reminiscent of his goal against FC Tulsa on Wednesday night. He had an incredible strike against FC Tulsa for their second goal. He just clipped it, hit that inside of that right post.
Stevenson turns well in a foul.
If you're OKC, you want Stevenson or Cato to get you in this game. Jaime Chavez, with all the experience that he has,
top of the 18, Brown again with the left. It's not good enough. Throw in here. Getting word that FC Tulsa 2-0 winners tonight over Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Marlon and Rodrigo da Costa goals for Tulsa. And they extend their lead in Group D. Other action. Charleston Battery, 2-1 winners over the Rowdies this evening. Stavros Zarakostas with the brace and the game winner in the 84th minute. Birmingham Legion fell tonight 3-1. That's a big result.
Legion were another team that started out the season on a roll, and that Charlotte Independence team came back and looks to be taking control of that group, beating North Carolina 1-0 tonight.
The action heating up. You always got to love the final weekend. Not just USL, you watch the Premiership. Oh man, I mean, just that final weekend, I mean, it's, you see Obregon, who had a big goal against Austin Bold, a PK in stoppage time coming on for Azokar. This final weekend, everyone's backs are against the wall. It doesn't matter if you feel safe and you're in, you have got to put your best performance forward, because as sports have shown, crazy things happen in the final weekend.
And then on the flip side of that as well, you're playing to see who you match up with in the first round. You know, you mentioned Birmingham Legion falling to Memphis. You know, these results matter. With Memphis being at the bottom of that group, you know, they might have just determined who Birmingham opens up their playoff run with.
Wow.
Same thing with Phoenix Rising. Same thing, you know, it's just all about matchups.
Obregon. As soon as he comes on, Edwards punishes. Lorendi has been fantastic. How about the quality of Lorendi since coming on?
Yeah, he's come up big. He's had to. You know, and then you have RGV bringing off Azokar, who has a goal tonight. And we're just going to bring in Obregon, who played fantastic on Wednesday night and scored a goal of its own.
Oh, RGV angling for number 4 tonight. You mentioned it a couple times in that first half. Just confidence. It just breeds confidence, and you see every touch a little bit more confidently. Every run made is just a little bit more, has a little bit more conviction. I think that's the best word tonight. RGV's played with more conviction.
And this is just an RGV team that unfortunately has dropped a lot of one-goal games. And you just wonder if they could have found this offensive rhythm a little earlier in the season. And maybe you subtract some of the giveaways that cost them goals.
Out-swinging ball towards the penalty spot, dealt with. But Obregon now has it on the left, one-on-one. Gets to his right, puts it in! Oh, come on! Juan Obregon Jr.
Goal scored by number 40.
Obregon comes in for a goal score in his Azokar and scores his own. Such a well-shaped ball in that upper corner. And you could see, as this play develops, what Obregon Jr. was looking to do. And there is nothing Lorendi can do about that.
Say his name, Juan Carlos Obregon Jr. A bender destined for the upper 90 and destined for greatness. Perhaps destined for the goal of the week in the USL. Oh my goodness. That's a great keeper right there in Lorendi, and there was absolutely nothing he could do.
Just so well placed, so well struck. And you could see it developing. You could see his head go up. He wanted to find that upper corner, and it was just about executing the plan. What a strike.
4-1, have yourself a night. RGV. Not to make light of any situation as COVID's serious, but RGV might want to miss 25 more games, 25 more days. Certainly, I mean, it's a different ball club.
They've definitely come back a different team right now.
Can OKC get one back? They cannot.
But going back to what I was saying as they were taking the corner earlier, if you eliminate some of those mistakes and some of those things that cost you games in RGV, you're a playoff team. You're in the hunt. You know, you watch this team play that San Antonio group on September 5th before they took the 25 days. You see what they can do against the top team in their group. Now just don't give up a goal 10 seconds into the match.
And you just wonder, what did 3 weeks off do for, maybe it's overplayed, maybe it's undersold, who knows? But I mean, RGV just looks different, and there's something different about this squad. Still 20 minutes to play. Maybe it was just a mental reset for a lot of these guys. It was like coming back after 3 weeks is like opening camp again.
Yeah, and that excitement to play and you know, be thankful to be playing. And I know all these players in the USL are so incredibly thankful and grateful to have this season and have the setup that they do, the group play. It's really made it an exciting season, although it's condensed. It's been fun to watch, and it's really been fun to watch these groups develop. Teams play themselves into the playoffs, like St. Louis, and see teams like Hartford, who hadn't had a lot of success against Pittsburgh, and now they're second in the group tonight with a game in hand playing tomorrow.
And Eric, you played, I played. Just sometimes though, when you're losing, it can be a drag on coming to training every day. You keep your professionalism. You still care about the product, but it mentally wears on you.
It does, and you know, you keep kind of thinking to yourself, what can we do to make this right?
Yeah.
And you know, that time off, you really have the ability to maybe look at things and be realistic with the changes that need to happen.
It's a stoppage of play. Not quite sure. Oh, now we see it. As Isidro Martinez has gone down from nearby Brownsville, Texas. This is his 14th appearance of the 2020 season. An Iron Man of sorts, played 2,800 minutes just a year ago. But yeah, to your point, finding a way to just get it right. And Austin Bold, a good team, winning against that club. As RGV's not done yet. 4-1, puts it in, and just at the last second, Ibiaga prevents the 5th goal of this contest coming for RGV. But to my point exactly, as we look at this replay, just beautiful ball across. Confidence. How much confidence is RGV playing with right now?
They are. They're playing with a lot of excitement as well. They're playing like they're having a lot of fun. You know, we keep going back to that break. You know, you get back on the field and just really enjoying the game again.
Another corner coming for RGV.
And now if you're RGV, can you close this game out with only giving up and conceding the 1 goal that they have? So really putting in a complete performance, scoring goals, and not allowing OKC to score.
Foul inside the box will go the other way. See some subs coming in for OKC. Stevenson off. Kodai Ida is on. Out of Ishikawa, Japan. Mike DeFont
for OKC, number 14, Kodai Ida.
is in as well for Joe Amico. Perhaps those subs allow OKC to finish what is a forgettable night. On a bit of a high note, you see DeFont coming on. Out of Ossing, New York, his second year with the club. He's played with the Colorado Rapids of the MLS. He's been in the USL with Phoenix, Sacramento, New York Red Bull 2. Played professionally in Portugal as well. He's on for the final 15.
For OKC, just getting some players on to see, you know, if it changes the game and really getting a good look at them here as their season closes out.
Cato. Towards the back post. Hernandez drops it off. Oh, and all that was missing was the ripple of the back of the net. Great piece of defending, desperate defending. You see the quality from Ito.
Comes right on and creates the best chance of the second half for OKC. Go back to that wide play. Then Ito finds that seam that he can run onto.
Ito, the first Asian-born player in OKC Energy history. His 7th appearance of the 2020 year. Done well. Hernandez onto his right foot. Doesn't test Ain't enough.
Other than that chance by Jaime Chavez in the first, obviously the goal by Cato in the first half for OKC, but then the other chance by Jaime Chavez that Ain't had to make the save off the header. OKC really hasn't had a good look at Ain't.
Beautiful ball sprayed out wide. On the end of it was Edwards again, but not before Lorendi scrambled to the ground to deny Edwards his second goal of the afternoon. How dangerous has Edwards been this evening? So lively.
He has, and not only created opportunities for himself, but I mean, you look at it, 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers.
Edwards tonight has been the catalyst. This will be our hydration break. It's 4-1 RGV over OKC. Arya Masudi, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew joining you from HEB Park, Edinburgh, Texas. And here is a delicious goal from Obregon. That is as good as it gets.
Just an incredible strike. Like I said, he gets his head up. Everybody knows what he's looking to do, but to execute it as well.
Messi-esque.
And to come on for a Zokar and really probably be his first couple touches of the match. He had a couple touches before that when he tried to find Edwards running in the 6-yard box. But really putting this game out of reach for OKC now with that Obregon goal.
Here is a look at where the Western Conference bracket stands. As of today, Tulsa, a huge 2-0 victory over Colorado. See a couple of substitutions. Rocha and Garza on. Gotta love to see Diego Rocha, an academy player for the Dynamo. He's played his way through. We are at HEB Park that debuted in 2017. A match against Monterrey. out of Liga MX that coronated the new stadium. Four goals for RGV, doubling their last output. Obregon says, I want another one from distance. This time he goes low. Lorenetti there to meet it.
Lorendi's been busy since coming on for CJ Cochran. And he's had to cover a lot of ground and really making some key saves. And this is an RGV team that's really not letting up. They're playing on the front foot. They're seeing a lot of good opportunities.
Cato disperses to Ibiaga to the penalty spot. Again, no one home for OKC. Ibiaga again. Hernandez. Looking for Ibiaga. Ein off his line quickly. Saw Garza was in for Beckford. He had himself quite a night.
And unless these other two matches get played, or if RGV has to play FC Tulsa again to determine whether Austin gets in that second spot, and this result holds up with RGV beating OKC, RGV's still going to be in 5th in Group D. They're not going to be able to jump OKC with 3 points tonight. It'll get them 1 point. It'll get them 1 point behind OKC in the standings, sitting at 9 points, and OKC sitting at 10. But what a tremendous performance so far from this RGV team.
As of now, there are no games left for either of these two teams. OKC Energy season will be done regardless. But RGV might have to play once more. But Tulsa put a dent into that with their victory earlier tonight. Austin Bold play tomorrow. They'll have to look to keep pace. So now as we enter the final 10 minutes, OKC will get a set piece. Eric, maybe for a struggling team, this is the type of opportunity that can just kind of make you feel good about yourself on the set pieces.
It can be. It's definitely from a distance that's tough to get up and down. You're right outside the 18. You're going to have to carry it over a wall. You're going to have to get it. You're going to have to hit it just perfect to really test Ein on this. But if you're OKC, you want to find a moment that makes this game end with some positives.
So RGV builds the wall here. Looks like Hernandez will stand over it. Rather, it'll be Brown. There it is. Upper 90 dandy. And OKC pulls one back. Jonathan Brown finds his second goal of the year. Third-year man out of Wales. Gotta feel good about yourself with that one.
And I use the word perfect to describe how he needed to strike that ball to score on Ein. And wow, he hit it exactly where he needed to, just over that wall, dipping right at the right time to catch that lower part of the crossbar and find itself in the back of the net.
Woo. Kibato was trying to answer with a delicious goal of his own.
Yeah, we've seen 2 goals in this half by substitutes, and one in Obregon and then Jonathan Brown.
Listen, Jonathan Brown can play, Eric. He's played for Cardiff City, Welsh Youth National Team, played for Hartford Athletic in 2019. A lot of quality for the 5'11" midfielder. Maybe OKC might get a little boost and an injection of momentum. 4-2, we've seen some crazy things happen all throughout USL this season. San Diego and Phoenix a couple weeks back had themselves a chaotic last 10 minutes or so. Obregon looking for the give and go. And now it'll be RGV with their opportunity at the top of the 18 set piece.
And with the addition of these hydration breaks in the first and second half, you could pretty much always count on about a 3 to 5 minute addition of time to the 90. So you're looking at close to 10 minutes for OKC to maybe find another one and put more pressure on RGV.
Obregon's feeling himself. He said, I promise I just put one in from this spot exactly. I know what it feels like.
What Obregon was trying to explain. He obviously didn't win that argument over Murphy. Murphy wants to get in on the scoring.
Murphy and Coronado. It will be Murphy, and he puts it off the wall. Chipped back into the box, Obregon. Onto it on the end line. Puts a move on, Chip. Nobody home. Coronado blasts one. Wishful thinking with that shot.
Now everybody wants in on the action. They all want to get a goal.
We've talked about how you feel good and conviction and quality and confidence. RGV just looks to be playing loose.
They do, I feel bad. Murphy won the argument to get the set piece.
You think Obregon will have a word for him in the locker room?
Absolutely.
Tug there from Dunwell. Garza goes down and kind of just rolls his eyes. The hometown kid, Victor Garza from Edinburgh, Texas, in his 4th year with the club. Jonathan Jimenez will come into the match for Edwards.
Toro substitution number 27, Jonathan Jimenez. For number 17, Kyle Edwards.
Kyle Edwards had a tremendous night tonight, building upon his performance on Wednesday against Austin Bold. You have to like what you saw up front with the combination of Edwards, Beckford, and Azokar. And then you bring in Obregon, who is a tremendous player in his own right. I mean, that is 4 players that can be dangerous on a consistent basis.
Substitutions brought to you by Delia's Tamales. See Legault in for Cabato. RGV still looking for its 5th goal. Hoffman into the box, plays it to the penalty spot. believe it was Brown who got a foot on it to deny the opportunity.
Unfortunately, OKC's playing like a team that is playing the last few minutes of the season right now, leaving some open space inside their own 18-yard box.
OKC franchise that was founded back in 2014 and made 3 playoff appearances, 4 playoff victories. 2016, of course, a great year for them, but better days are ahead, no doubt, for Energy FC. Got a bit of work to do, though, as back-to-back seasons where they just haven't been up to the quality that their fan base is used to. And you see that they have some talent on the roster. Ability to create, some quality midfielders. So what's left to do?
Score timely goals. Going back to that fan base, that's something the USL continues to grow and continues to build such an incredible product and such incredible fan bases.
That's a great sports city, Oklahoma City. They love their Thunder, no doubt about that. Host the Women's College World Series in that city for softball every year. See 4 minutes of stoppage time. Brought to you by Kepa. Great AAA team over in OKC as well. It really is a passionate city for its sports. As this header goes wide, and you see an opportunity for Energy FC to really build some momentum. After, of course, COVID subsides, fingers crossed.
And you have a coach at the helm with John Pascarella, MLS experience. I mean, such a fantastic coach. First season there. He's going to do a lot of good things at OKC. And obviously, speaking very highly of Coach Echeverri as well. And what he's done with his RGV team. Just has to find a little more consistency. Really, both these clubs do. To put themselves in playoff contention next year.
And RGV, of course, the last week has to be such a positive for them. Just such a positive, Eric. Not just wins, convincing wins. They have looked the better side against Austin Bold. Getting to come back home, HEB Park. Having your home fan base just kind of there, kind of cheering you on. It's got to put a smile on Echeverri's face.
And you go in to Wednesday's game against Austin. You'd played 12 games. You had scored 11 goals. And now you've played 2 games, and you've scored 6. You've scored almost, you scored half the amount of goals in 2 games that you did in 11. So there's a lot of positives to take from this performance and from both performances this week.
Chavez coming a little bit late there. Taken down James Murphy.
And that's a player that OKC really wants to count on, and Jaime Chavez had such a good season for Fresno FC a year ago. Such a talented striker. Good in the air, good on services, but also really creative in 1v1 situations.
4-2, RGV finishing touches. His goals by Edwards, Azokar, Beckford, Obregon Jr. And looking for their fifth. It's Obregon again. Gets to his right, goes down. Decision time, no whistle. Had a 98th minute PK against Austin on Wednesday. That'll do it. RGV 4, OKC Energy 2. All smiles for the home side. A disappointing end to a disappointing season for Energy FC. A handshake and a hand slap by the coaches. This one was all Rio Grande Valley.
It was, and you've got to be happy with the performance. Edwards really picked up where he left off on Wednesday, and really that front three made it about them tonight.
Here's the save of the match, presented to you by Texas Gas. How about that? Lorendi going to his right.
Yeah, he was forced to make a number of big saves throughout this second half and throughout the end of the first half, coming off for CJ Cochran. And you just go back to the complete performance from RGV. Their midfield did a tremendous job. Their back line, I mean, everybody contributed to such a professional win.
And then how about this? Man of the match. It'll be Azokar, who is the man of the match.
Yeah, well, Azokar for RGV. This is 2 games in a row. Getting his first start on Wednesday night against Austin Bold. Really created a number of opportunities, and then getting his first goal for RGV in his second start tonight on a set piece in that first half. He and Edwards did a great job working together.
RGV 4, OKC Energy 2. We'll wrap it up right after this.
DHR Health is now safer than ever and continues to remain focused on one thing: providing exceptional care to our patients and community. No other hospital is trying harder to keep you safe. We're taking every action to ensure your safety with enhanced precautions, including 3 off-site COVID-19 units. Your health should never wait. Don't delay your health care. There is no reason to. Schedule your appointment today. DHR Health. For you, for life.
Why choose Lone Star National Bank for your business? Because no other bank does more to support local businesses. In fact, we are the #1 lender in the Valley to small businesses. We put money to work here in our community.
That helps our local businesses grow.
Creating more jobs.
And more opportunities for all of us.
Working together.
Together.
We do what the little banks can't and the big banks won't. Lone Star National Bank, the Valley's bank.
At Bird Ogden and Fiesta dealerships, we continue to make our facilities safer. We are using hospital-grade disinfectants to sanitize customer waiting areas. We are sanitizing every vehicle before and after each use. Safety is our top priority. Together, we will get through this.
Full moon, a pretty night in Edinburgh, Texas. And Rio Grande Valley FC gave its home fans something to cheer about. 4-2 victory. 90 minutes of beautiful soccer for the Toros. Eric, it started early. It was often. It was confident with conviction.
And all the goals for RGV were so well earned and so well taken, starting out with Cabato playing it into Edwards, and Edwards getting a little half turn here and finding that far post, beating CJ Cochran to his right. And that was really the tale of the game here, the story of the game. And then OKC got back into it with Cato's goal. Good build up, good link up. Cato playing it in. But that was about as close as OKC would be. And then here, Azokar, so well earned, good performance on Wednesday night in his first ever start for RGV in the USL. Getting a deflection, being prepared to take it, finding that far post. And then here, this goal is still listed as an own goal, but the work that Shane Beckford does to earn this, just playing around Del Campo, that pace really putting C.J. Cochran, and we hope long-term that C.J. Cochran's okay because he was subbed off after that run in with Del Campo, his center back. And here it is. Obregon, head up, finds it, curls it far post. There was nothing Lorendi could do about that one. Obregon getting early touches on the ball as a sub. Just curls that one in, and then Jonathan Brown. Such a tough set piece to take there because it is right at the top of the 18. You've got the wall 10 yards out. You've got to get it up and down and still got to beat Ein. And he clips the bottom of that crossbar.
A Welshman who would make Gareth Bale proud with that shot there. An artist and his canvas, so to speak. How about the final stats of this one? 19 shots for Toros. I think I'm even more impressed they put 12 on target.
Yeah, and the possession arrow is still favoring OKC Energy, but what did you do with that possession? And you and I talked about it throughout the match. Their ability to find those wide areas in the final third for OKC Energy, but just not being able to produce a quality opportunity.
Well, final game for Rio Grande Valley as they defeat OKC Energy 4-2 for Eric Dobransky. I'm Mario Masudi saying good night from Edinburgh.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.